you want to be successful? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to dominate the day? Then you're going to need Big Skip Energy. Welcome back to the Big Skip Energy Podcast. It's great to have you again.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, so of course, since last time, obviously a lot's been happening the last 18 months or so. Of course, you see the other face on here, Kayla, but tell you what, it's been a crazy time. Why don't you take a moment, introduce yourself, and kind of just let everybody know just what's been going on in your world.
Yeah, so my name's Jordan Nutter. I am a mortgage lender. I work with NFM Lending, and I have been with them, since April of 2022 now. And I work as a loan officer and then also the vice president of our influencer division. So we carry mortgage influencers that are on social media.
That's huge. That's a big deal.
Awesome. Yeah. So that happened earlier this year, which was very exciting. And we do kind of out of the box. We teach individuals on social media how to purchase a home and the basics of it because we are not educated in school with those tools. So we really try to help push that information out so people have at least a basic understanding of how to purchase. And so that's kind of really what's been happening. And social media has been really great to me. This past year, I've gotten to travel to different parts of the U.S. and teach real estate teams and mortgage companies on how to really take advantage of social media. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously that topic's near and dear to Kayla as well.
Oh, so many people miss the boat on it. And it's one thing you probably know, Jordan, is when you go in to teach or coach or help, it always amazes me how some people don't even have an Instagram app or they don't even know how to take a video. And so sometimes I feel like it's overlooked at how many people really do need help. So what you're doing is incredible.
Well, thank you. Yeah, there's so much when we teach classes and I'll okay, pull up your Instagram and it's private or it doesn't say that they do real estate. And I'm like, how are we trying to promote ourselves? And
it's just like educating the homeowner.
Yeah.
We have to educate the LO as well, right? So,
yeah.
So in the last year and a half, a bunch has been going on. You have stepped up your game. Your following on TikTok's been great. I do have a question though. How much, or has this changed where previously you had a good mix of interaction with other industry professionals, realtors, that kind of thing, and of course the general public as well? Has that dynamic shifted at all? Is it kind of the same? What percentage would you say you get interactions from just the general folks out there, or is it more industry people? Talk to me about that.
So I feel like overall there's probably more industry people that have now followed because of the different classes that I've teach and I've gone around. So they've found me and now they follow me. We still get, I would say probably 70% of my business comes from social media though. Yeah. So a lot does still come from the general public reaching out to try and purchase or refinance their home. But yeah, there's definitely been new industry people coming along, which has been fun to see because then I met them somewhere and they ask me questions and I get to kind of dig into their profile and help tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, so that's really cool because after our episode together, of course, I can't remember, but I think you and Caleb may have actually been on the same episode. I don't remember.
The same series, maybe.
Same series for sure. But anyway, I had so many people reach out and say, "Oh, I'm so excited that you had Jordan on there. I love Jordan. She's great." So we got a lot of positive feedback. So I think what you're doing is really cool. And Kayla and I actually were talking about you. I know that sounds bad, doesn't it? But no, we were talking about you with our previous guest that we just finished recording a little while ago. And the fact that education of not only the homeowner, but the industry professional, be it realtor, LO, is really important. Now, what is it about that, though, that you really find rewarding, and what made you kind of want to get into that?
So for moving into a loan officer, when it comes to the home buyer perspective, there was just a lack of education. I'm sure you see this all the time. There's still the misconception that you have to put 20% down to purchase a home.
Yep.
And there's not you can't, if you want to buy an investment property, you have to put 20% down, but you don't. Like there's all of these just misconceptions because there's so much information online and the articles, and then your parents or other people that have purchased over the years that the guidelines have probably changed at this point. So I really wanted to try and help the individuals that were not being served. They were kind of getting brushed to the side because they weren't the ideal client of a 800 credit score with 20% down going conventional. And I just didn't think that was fair. So that's really what pushed me into recording and putting out there on social media. And then when it came into helping other loan officers and helping real estate agents, it was, well, yes, they may know the guidelines and how to write contracts and put the best deal in and negotiate, but they aren't familiar with this new type of marketing. They know how to door knock, cold call, flyers, open houses, but as great as that is, and that may be what works for them, there's still a whole nother set of individuals that we aren't taking care of. So the Gen Zers that are trying to purchase in the next 1 to 3 years is 68.6 million in the next 1 to 3 years. And they get almost all of their information off of social media. Primarily, it's going to be YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Those are the 4 main platforms where they get a majority of their information. And so if they're going to be purchasing a majority of them in the next 1 to 3 years, let's take the time right now to really put yourself out there and become the expert in Indianapolis, Indiana, or Dallas, Texas, or Chattanooga, Tennessee. Like, yes, there's so many people that are out there being a real estate agent, because probably the biggest pushback outside of I don't know what to do is there's so many people already on there. And I'm like, if you had that mindset going into real estate, you would have not gone into real estate.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
Because everybody and their mother, maybe not right now, but everybody and their mother at one point was a real estate agent. So if that was the mindset, you wouldn't have gotten into this industry.
No, that's 100% correct. The number of, we've all seen the stories about the number of MLOs getting licenses drop significantly. If we look at the number of realtors whose licenses are still active, it hasn't dropped by that much. So no, you're right. Completely. That's an excellent point. I see Kayla getting all giddy over there. She's like, oh, my stuff, this is good.
It is. I'm like, it's refreshing because, so I'm in Fargo, North Dakota, Jordan. Fargo, North Dakota, really up north. And it's like in North Dakota, I feel like we're behind a little bit. So a song will come out on the radio and we'll hear it 6 months later. And so a lot of
we're a little country, for God's sake. What are you talking about?
Like, that's how it is. But so when I get around other people that really know the power of social media, it lights a fire because Jordan said it. We have Gen Z coming up. And what are they utilizing to search loan officers? They're a lot of times going to Instagram or TikTok. Even I feel like Google isn't even as used anymore because they get to know us on social media. It's someone once said, think of someone that you know on TV or a celebrity that you really like, and you feel like you really know them. And if you met them in person, what would you do? Well, people now have the ability to follow us and share the journey. And Jordan, in your case, one thing I love that you do is you do this thing where you're on one side as the loan officer and the other side as a client. And I crack up about it because I get it as a loan officer. But what you're doing is you're educating, and people love that. And it's not in a stale way of you can't do this. It's fun. And people get to know you as a human as well. So
yeah. And that's what I love about video, because it's not the generic. I think when you look at social media, a lot of, and not to call agents out, but agents, when you work with like a big brokerage, they generally give you, okay, here's where you go to pull for your social media. And it's the generic templates. And maybe you can potentially make it your own colors, but it's going to be the same thing that everybody else has. And when you put that out there, it's a copy paste. Like, you're not putting out your personality and who you are to try to get the community to know you. And so I love about video, even if you're not comfortable, it takes some time. You go back in my old videos, it's very different now. And even I posted yesterday, I was like a blooper reel, and I'm like, I still mess up. Like, still to this day, we're all human. I just have learned how to mess up a lot quicker and get back and bounce back from it. But I think when you put video out there, you really get to, as long as you're genuine and authentic with it, you get to show off who you are. And that means so much, especially if you're trying to connect with somebody on the other side of a computer or a phone screen. You have to be able to build that connection.
And I think people are attracted to that because what makes people attracted to other people is the ability to see that you're human. And people probably love your bloopers. They probably loved that. It made them relate to you. Like, gosh, you should see my video. So I think that allows people to be attracted to you more.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's like, Kayla, we had that conversation with Brian before we got on here with Jordan. It's just like, Jordan, when I started the podcast, I would edit the hell out of it, right? But now I'm just like, nah, if I've got something on there, forget it. Yeah. It's fine. It just makes you more relatable. So, well, Jordan, switching gears a little bit, talk to me about some of the most well-received social media posts that you have done in the past 12 months. Like, think back to like what got the most views, clicks, likes, shares, whatever. What were the topics?
So there's two types of videos I do that tend to get the most interaction. And the first one is going to be when I do the reenactment videos, like you were saying. So I pretend that I am on the phone and it's a green screen background and I'm the buyer and then I'm myself. And it's never truly 100% exactly what happened because I don't want anybody to feel offended or get upset. So generally I'll exaggerate it slightly or I will tweak it somehow. So it is just ever so slightly different than what actually happened. And some of them are a little bit more exaggerated than others, but people enjoy those because, which one?
That's fine though, because it gets your point across.
It does. Yeah. Like the one that I posted today, the third part of it was very exaggerated. Like I didn't actually do that, but it was a funny twist. And I was like, I'll just throw it in there and see what people say. But it's entertaining. It is still educating because it's like, hey, we just need you to sign this document, or you cannot take a picture of cash and upload it and tell me that this is your form of deposit. Like this is not, we can't verify that. Right. So yes, it's entertaining, but it's still slightly educational. There's something in there. And then the other ones that tend to do really well are when I talk about my point of view and a topic, a big news article. So when the student loans started to come out, or the payments were going to start up, I should say, this month, I grabbed an article and it was saying like the percentage of people that feel like they couldn't make their home payment or their rent or their mortgage payment because of the new student loans that were coming out. And that one got a lot of traction. Like, you know what, I can't. I tried and going to the SAVE program, or some people were getting upset and they're like, well, they've had all this time to save up and why are they spending more than they have? And there's all this back and forth, but generally news articles where I sit very much neutral in the middle and I'm just like, what are your thoughts on it? Gets a lot of return.
Very cool. I'm actually watching your video that you posted now.
I love that. Well, and what you're doing is what we call edutainment. You're educating and providing entertainment. And you're not just attracting other loan officers, you're attracting maybe realtors that don't know these things or consumers who had no idea. And you're right, the 20% down thing, even I'm like, okay, people know this. And every now and then you got someone that says, oh, I don't need to do that. And I had the other day, you'll get questions like this, you guys, is it okay if I go get a gym membership? And I'm like, yes, you're good. But I'd rather clients ask than not. We find out that they bought a car. So,
yeah, I'll get people that are like, okay, well, I've been waiting to talk to you for a year because I've just been trying to save up. And I'm like, what do you mean you've been trying to save up? Or like the basics of what earnest money is. Like to us, we know that that's a basic, pretty much term.
Sorry, I know it's distracting. Yeah.
No, you're good. But to most people, they don't know what earnest money is or due diligence or an appraisal contingency or anything that really goes into a contract. So even starting off with the basics, if you're watching this and you're like, I don't know where to start, the things that you feel that so well, like the list I just said, just explain that, because there's so many people that have no idea what those items are.
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it, Kayla?
It does. We were just talking, Jordan, about how even when you say, I'm waiting for the VOE and your COE for the USDA, for the VA, people are like, huh? And so,
Sorry. What the hell did you just say?
oh no. So when you're doing a reel and you're talking this way, people don't get it. Like, take,
No, I have no idea.
well, and there's a thing now on Chat GPT, I was just saying earlier, was you can take your job or something and put it in Chat GPT and basically get the assistance to have it help you dumb it down to a second grade level, because that's what consumers need now. There's all of this noise. We loan officers that are utilizing social media need to essentially, I hate to say dumb it down, but simplify it for people that are not in this industry like us. So I think you do a fantastic job at that. It's just take the acronyms, take a couple of reels and say, here are what 3 things mean. VOE, like just spell it out. So.
Well, I think there's something to be said to that. Even, okay, so Jordan, we had Allie Carty on the show recently, and she grew up in the mortgage industry. Her parents both involved in it. She's with Active Comply doing so. Anyway, she's overwhelmed by the number of like acronyms and jargon. She pulled up a book and was like, hey, I use this to look shit up because I don't know sometimes. So I've got to figure out what it is. I was like, no, that's great. But if you're in this area of your life and you're still having to do that, imagine what Joe and Jane out there feel like when they may go through a mortgage, every maybe 4 times in their life, and it's going to be a completely different experience every single time. It's got to be overwhelming, right?
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So,
well, anything that you do in life, we don't, I don't do my own hair. I don't pay, I don't color my own hair. I pay the expert because they know what they're doing. And when we're in situations with people, like I remember the first time
I do my own hair.
But think of a time that you did something for the first time and you had no idea what to expect. And one thing I do with my clients is I'll say, I had LASIK eye surgery and I said, I had no idea what to expect. That's scary, right? So is buying a house. So it's, if you can relate that way, it's scary for them. They don't know.
And I think most people, seriously, all jokes aside, if you asked them, would they rather have a laser shot in their eye or go through a home buying process, they'd pick the laser. Let's just be honest. So yeah, your point's 100% on. So Jordan, what is the most common question that you get asked from, not from the general public, but from other industry professionals about what it is that you do? Say, hey, look, getting started, we've all heard, hey, you just got to do it, right? You got to go out there. But what's the biggest piece of advice that you give out to say, hey, look, this is what you really just need to focus on?
To get past your own insecurities. We are our biggest critic. And it's inevitable. Social media, there's so much out there. There's people that are behind the screen and they're like, oh, why did you say that? Or, oh, why is your hair like that? And to each their own, they're upset with whatever they have going on. And that's why they feel to put it out there. But you have to understand that you're not doing it for them. Mm-hmm. You're doing it for yourself. And so somebody who's been so for instance, when I have people that come to me and they're like, I'm so worried and I'm afraid that my family's going to think that, what am I doing? And I go, just try. I am never going to make fun of you for trying. And the reason why is because I was there and I knew how hard it was to get past that. The people that are afraid of what you're doing or they're jealous of what you're doing, those are the people that are going to criticize you, not the people that are out there doing the same thing and pushing themselves to be better. So if you just remember that one piece where it's like, okay, I know there's people that are out there, they're not going to agree with it. They're going to say, what are you doing? And maybe make fun of me, but they're not the people that I'm doing this for. I'm doing it for myself. And the ones that are out there accomplishing their goals and pushing themselves would never be making fun of me for trying.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know what? Yeah, you'll never be criticized by somebody doing more than you. It's always going to be by somebody doing less. So yeah, and I use that quote all the time. So yeah, just take something like this show. People were like, "What? Why are you doing that? It's stupid." Blah blah blah. It's like, okay, do it then. No, do your own version. Let's do it better. So, all right. So Jordan, talk to me about looking forward a little bit. What do you see as the biggest, or where are we going as far as educating people through social media? What do you see kind of coming up? I know you've got a couple of things in the works a little bit. Talk to me about that.
So we had this idea that has just snowballed now at this point into a much bigger endeavor
Very
than I
big,
really
actually. Very large.
anticipated it to be. But purchased a 36-foot motorhome, and we are in the process of getting it ready to go on the road. I would say we don't have a set date, but it's probably going to be the third or fourth week of January. We'll hit the road and essentially bring homeownership education directly to the consumer. So it's going to be a mix of talking to real estate agents and loan officers about social media and educating them on how to really take advantage of it. And then at the same time, educating their buyers as to this is how you purchase a home and down payment and closing cost. And this is what to expect. And these are just like the basic ABCs of going into it. So essentially what I do on my platform, but more so now in person. So we're going to start in California, and we are going to essentially make hopefully a loop around the US over, I would say, about a 9 to 10 month span. And
Awesome.
So cool.
It's a whole thing.
Well, Jordan, we forgot to put Fargo on the map, so you have to come see me. So we'll
a little bit out of her way. I'm not sure.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to make it.
That is cool. How are you? So when you're going to do this, Jordan, are you going to be doing this, like going into like certain like conference rooms, hotel? Like, is it from this big transportation you're doing it from? Is it outside? Where are you having these meetings?
She's going to loudspeaker and do it.
Wait, thank you everybody for showing up. And all these folding chairs just sitting.
That's right.
No, so it's depending on kind of what meeting or interaction we're going to do. There's going to be some people that I'm going to have interview, not necessarily podcast, but interview and put on social media in the RV. So I have a few agents set up, a few loan officers set up, where I'll kind of interview them in the RV and just kind of roll up to their house or their business in this and just really talk. And then outside of that, doing the real estate, that's more so with like teams. So that'll more than likely be at their office. The majority that I've talked to thus far still have some sort of brick and mortar standing office to do that in. And then for the home buyers, that's, again, just depending on where it's going to be. It may be at the real estate agent's office, or depending on how big we get it, it may be more of like renting out at like a hotel in the conference room or something like that. We just have to figure out how much we have to scale it.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see. I'm excited to follow you. And when are you starting this? Do you know?
So we have a big meeting the like second week of January. So once I get back from that, I will start. So probably the third or fourth week of January is when we're gonna get on the road.
If somebody wants to get on your tour, as far as like a stop on your tour. Okay.
Yeah, so we're building out, we just had a meeting yesterday we're like in the middle of tweaking the website. So you'll have the option to request me to come to that area. And depending on how many requests are there, hopefully we can get it on the schedule where it works out for everybody. Yeah. But yes, you can. There's going to be an option where you can request to have me come. So
I like it. So are you going to have groupies and stuff follow you around on your tour bus?
I probably, if I were to guess somewhere, my face is going to be on the side of it. So I'm assuming there will be somebody who's like, what is happening?
Yeah. So guys, any of my listeners that see Jordan's face running down the interstate, where she's going and what she's doing. So
that's amazing. And the cool part is you can work anywhere as a loan officer.
I'm glad that I'm not a real estate agent right now, because I would not be able to do this.
That's awesome. Good for you. And that's awesome.
I know it
is, but I love the idea. It's original. It's beneficial. It's like, I like it. I really do. I think it's going to be killer. So that's awesome. So Jordan, as we kind of wrap up here, if the listeners want to learn more about you, who you are, what you do, about your homeownership education, which I know your stuff isn't out yet for that, but where should they go?
So across all platforms, it's Another Home Loan. So my it's a pun on my last name. So a Nutter Home Loan. So all one word. And then as this new journey kind of unfolds, I'll kind of pair up with the new name that we're going to use just for this journey, which will be Mobile Mortgage Mom. So that one will be a lot more of like the day-to-day kind of journey and filming, and it'll have some education, but I'll still keep my Another Home Loan as the main source of education.
Oh, I'm feeling a live from the road broadcast coming up in your future.
I could easily, I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? We're going to have I'm going to be in the RV in my little setup.
I'm going to need you to have like a CV radio. You're going to need to have a call sign, the whole 9 yards. All right.
Oh, yeah. You should see me driving that thing. I'm like, one time I drove it and I'm like, okay, I'm good now. I'm
good.
Done. I don't. That's
an undertaking. I've never driven an RV before, so I'm sure it's got quite the learning curve to get used to.
Jordan, you have kids, right? You said you've got.
I have one, so she's 7 months old.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Yeah, so I have her, and then we have 2 dogs that are coming with us.
What kind of dogs?
One is a Rottweiler and one is a Pit Bull. So they're like 100 pounds.
Oh, it's right up Kayla's alley.
Bro, I was like, they're going to be Chihuahuas, but you're taking 2 big dogs. Oh
yeah. Go ahead and show Jordan your dogs. There's got to be. There's no way you don't have a picture.
It's like, well,
I just want my phone.
Twist my. Oh my! You have 4
pity rescues.
I love that.
Yep. So in my head, the reason I asked this is I'm like, she's traveling with child and pets. I'm like, there's no way I could travel with pit bulls. And you said it, and like, she's doing it.
Yeah, 4 though.
Maybe I can do that.
You don't know. That feels like a lot. Do you ever take them and like go anywhere with all 4 of them?
Occasionally, it's a lot of work. We tried to take family photos yesterday, and it was chaotic, but they're good when they're like.
What car do you have to fit all of these dogs?
I have a Lincoln MKX, and my husband's got just a big truck, so they all fit. So yeah, but it's a challenge. But I think that's really cool, though, that they're going along because you can go to outdoor parks, anything you want to. So the whole family's going.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cracker Barrel's calling her name on the road.
Cracker Barrel, Walmart's, and apparently Bass Pro Shops.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bass Pro Cabela.
That's what I heard.
Here. Listen, that is as awesome. I truly think that's going to be a huge success for you.
It will be.
Thank you. I'm excited for it. It should be. There's so many people when you work in multiple states that you never get to meet. And I'm excited to meet these agents that I've worked with in Texas and across the country and hopefully build more relationships along the way.
And you will.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for coming back on the show. Really appreciate your time this afternoon. And like I said, I'm going to have to hit you up when you're on the road so we can do a little update. All right.
Oh, yeah. Please. I would love that.